Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look at Bitcoin here. Hopefully kind of come to a conclusion. What the hell is going to happen next, right? That's the idea. And hopefully if you're new to the channel, you are looking to learn a little bit here and there. Obviously, my goal is to help you become a better trader. And if you can learn something here today, I've done my job. Now, I do also have a trading community where I send out signals. We all communicate openly in the private chat group, as well as the fact that I also have a trading academy just rolled out. So go to CryptoCache.tech, link in the description below. That's our new website. It's still under construction, but the member section is fully available, and you can learn how to become a better trader. I've got well over 50 videos kind of just educating you on how to be a better trader, and obviously hopefully it helps you out. So far it's been very good for a lot of people. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. Obviously, we want to understand more about the movement, right? Because yesterday was kind of a surprise. I think it was the largest increase in price in months. Like we haven't had an 11% day from Bitcoin in a long time. So it was just deserves, right? It kind of definitely came back. It was nice to have that gusto going on the weekend, but I just want you to be cautious, obviously, because traditionally weekends can be green, but if you have a green Friday, like a really strong Friday, I've noticed the inverse applies over the weekend. Oftentimes, just people are taking their profits and selling, or a lot of folks are going long and getting stopped out too. So careful taking a position over the weekend in this regard. Obviously, dollar cost average if that's your goal, but don't think we're out of the woods yet just because we had one good day. Okay, just some friendly advice there. It's easy to get on the hype train. All these other people are telling you that we're shooting to the moon now. We're great because we broke a trend line. That's good. That's obvious. That's definitely the case. But we're not perfect, right? It's not just like we're going to be ready to rock and roll. We need to build a steady foundation here in this channel first before we can leg up again. And the idea is to be cautious and careful between now and then, whenever that were to happen. Because Bitcoin, as we can tell, it will surprise the heck out of you at any given time. All right. Because again, I love this formation here. We kind of joke about this in the community, but we got a Loch Ness monster right now, and we're trying to figure out where it's going to go next. Right. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that? Enough speculation. Let's go ahead and go to the one-day chart, work our way down. In fact, why don't we even start with the 1 week and see what's going on? So this is a good week here so far. It does prove that February could possibly be a green month, and that's a very good sign. It's kind of what we've been expecting generally as a community, because we knew January would be rough. Traditionally, Januaries are pretty bad. Then obviously we will look at February and on. You can tell that February, March, we might actually have some kind of reprieve here. But the bottom line here is we did break that trend line, and we are trending up above, which is very, very nice. So some consolation, so to speak. Let's see what else is going on. We're still under the 50 on the 1 week. We will be for a while. That's trending up around 47, 48,000. So until we get there, for now, not a big deal. We just got to kind of roll with it. It's all good. All right. And then go ahead and moving on to the 1 day chart. Let's go ahead and see kind of where we're at here. This is interesting to me where we're actually getting close to the 50. I didn't think we'd be able to see that for a while, but we are actually getting close. So just bear in mind that's traditionally a resistance level, and it has been for some time. But once again, we'll know when we get there. We're not quite there yet. We might actually see that in the next couple of days or weeks. Probably likely within the next week or two, depending on how the price action responds. I'm not saying the price will continue to progress upwards, but if it does, that's essentially where we're going to be testing next. Okay, so we just kind of got to be patient until we get there. But here's some really interesting and awesome constellation here, so to speak, is that we're back up over 50 on the RSI. Now the 1 day candlestick did close above, so that's great. It's not to say it won't come back down, but the likelihood of it coming down and bouncing off 50 on the RSI is fairly high. In other words, traditionally speaking, when you have a break above 50 on the RSI, a strong clean break like we saw, the likelihood of it dropping below that is fairly low. So in that sentiment, we can say that 50 on the RSI is very much concurrent with 40,000 or 40,500, right in that range. We got a little channel there that is essentially a nice little support. So I think that's a really good sign ultimately to let us know. And if we look at the volume, let's go ahead and take a look here. We don't have a tremendous amount of volume at that price point, at least in the last, this is about 5 weeks worth of trading. So we got to be careful that, obviously the price could drop below 40,000. It may not be a significantly strong support, but it is a key level Fibonacci retracement line and a previous established support and resistance. So we got to understand that as well, regardless of the lack of volume in the last month here at that price point, because it just shot right up and shot right down previously. We still have that as a potential area of support, right? So that's generally the concept there I want you to kind of understand. There's a good chance we'll see some channel trading between, maybe in the next week or so, where the price will continue to bounce up and down within this range. Bitcoin does have a tendency of doing very good channeling within specific price points. Now, we don't know specifically here that 42,000 is the top, but that's where it stopped today, right? Again, this is just kind of tentative. This is more of a short-term look with Fibonacci retracement based on the most recent low on the 24th up until the most recent high. So that being said, 40,000 should essentially be our next, our key level support. And if we lose that, obviously down here, right around what we previously established, right around 38.8, or just say round number 39,000. So we got some decent support below us here at this point. So in other words, if Bitcoin were to come down to 40,000, I would feel comfortable in adding to my position or possibly taking a position at that point with the intention of it coming back up to 42. If that makes any sense, right? That's the general concept I'm trying to drive home here. So, if some of you are just wanting to take long positions right now, I'd recommend not doing that. Yes, it's tested this resistance level about 3 times in the 4-hour chart, but we need more volume at that price point to be able to break, okay? Because, yeah, I mean, even though, the price had shot up, we look at the volume here, we still got a very small amount of volume in this overall sense here, right? Again, with time comes volume, and in time we might see that volume accumulation and the break to the upside. This does appear to be somewhat of a flag pattern, but it's too early to tell, right? Once again, a little too early in my personal opinion. I like to look at larger time frames for those type of patterns, if you will. Okay. All right, anyways, looking at the, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this. We're up over the 200-day simple moving average. That's another reason why 40,000 is probably a likely candidate for a strong support. Because if you see here, the moving average is working its way down, and it'll effectively average out right around 40,000. That reaffirms a support level, okay? We've also got the price action trending upwards. So within the next couple of trading days, we could see a golden cross in the 4-hour, which would effectively inevitably increase the price. So if the price starts trending down closer to 40,000 over the next 2 days, that would be, again, another good consideration to possibly take entry for a long up to 42,000 at the very least. Somewhere in that range, right? So that's something I'm going to be looking out for this weekend. For right now, I wouldn't say necessarily you want to short per se, but I opened a quick short trade on futures with SRM just a moment ago, and we took some really easy profits. Obviously, with leverage, it's easy to do that, but Bitcoin's overextended. I don't see why it would want to continue higher at this point. I think we're going to probably see a little bit of a correction closer to 40,000 in the next 24 to 48 hours. Which again is contrary to what we see on the weekends, right? Usually we have a green weekends for the most part. But if you take the inverse here and you think about it, we typically have red Fridays. Red Friday followed by green weekends. That makes sense. Green Friday followed by red weekends. It's almost always the exact opposite of what you think it would be. So try to kind of maybe think about that. Again, these are just statistics I'm throwing out there, right? 42% of statistics are made up on the spot. So in that sense, you can't truly trust that it's going to always happen. But more often than not, we usually see a sell-off on Friday and then recovery over the weekend, or an increase on Friday and a sell-off on the weekend, which is what we're probably going to experience here soon. Wouldn't be surprised next 24 hours, we're averaging around 41/40,000. I hope otherwise, obviously, because I know a lot of you have long positions, I hope it goes straight up, right? Well, okay, I hope it goes up progressively in a nice staircase pattern. But generally speaking, you can assume here that at this point, it is definitely overextended. 11% in what, I think it was only 12 hours or less. That is too much movement in a short amount of time. You got to understand that. Even though it's been a long time coming, yes, I don't expect the price to just continue to shoot up. Again, unless we have some really good news in the near future, there might be some fundamentals out there causing it, but there's too much on the horizon for me to be super bullish on Bitcoin right now. Again, just trying to be the voice of reason so you understand. Here's another reason why I feel also that the price will decrease. Usually it's a good sign. If you want to watch my RSI video, you'll know this. When the RSI comes back down under 70, it crosses 70, that's a case in point where you want to consider taking profits and wait for the price to kind of level out, right? Because typically it's viewed as very much overbought, which is where we're at right now. Bitcoin is extremely overbought, and we can't expect the price to maintain that level for very long. And the reason why I say that too is if you look at the 4-hour chart, it's very rare for the price to be that high for too long, right? Anytime it comes up over 70 on the RSI on the 4-hour specifically, it has a tendency of correcting itself. Every single time. Okay, correction. Most every single time, right? October was a bit of a contradiction there, but minus that one fact, you can pretty much anticipate almost every single time it's going to do that. Once again, bearish market, bullish market, there's different scenarios here. We're not established as a bull market yet, so we can't expect it to continue to increase, right? Now, an RSI up over 70 on the 1-day chart, different story. I like it when I see that. That's a continuation pattern. That's usually when you break new all-time highs and you continue to bounce off of new key level supports, which were previous resistance. But in this case here, the 4 hour, no, I don't like the fact that it's overextended the 4 hour. That is cause for concern. Again, I don't think it's going to drop like a rock, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does, right? It's one of those scenarios. We're likely not going to see that on the weekend, but still something to consider. Obviously, we had a strong MACD convergence, but we're losing that as well. Let's look at the 4 hour and identify here. TD sequential, I'm sure we got a reset. Yes, we are. We got a little bit of a support at 40,500. So bear in mind, 40,500 / 40,000. Those are two support levels, right? We got this little support channel near the lower half of this area. We've also got on TD sequential telling us that we might want to consider closing our position soon, right? This is another reason why I feel like we're a bit on the overextended side, because the Ichimoku Cloud, albeit a very safe indicator, we should be closing our position within about 4 hours. The price cannot break the plane of 42,000. Okay, that's what it's telling us. So if you have a long position open right now, try not to get too greedy. Maybe consider taking some profit and add to your position when the price comes down. Obviously, it depends on your goals. If you are a long-term holder for Bitcoin or other altcoins, don't worry about it. But a lot of altcoins are extremely overextended right now. If Bitcoin cracks down to 40,000, what do you think those will do? Take your profits while you still can. But key takeaway here is, of course, the cloud still says we can leave our position open. Just know within the next 4 hours, we're going to see it give us that signal to want to close it. Again, unless the price will shoot up above 42,000 right now. I don't foresee that happening. It could happen. It has happened in the past. I could be very well wrong. I'd be more than happy to make a video tomorrow and say I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I don't get things right all the time, but I can assure you that most of what we see right now is, I guess, leaning more towards bearish on the short term. The macro is still left to be defined. We don't know if we're bullish or bearish yet. I would recommend waiting. We still got quite a few patterns that haven't fully formed yet, and we could very well see with that Loch Ness monster, we could see it come crashing down, right? Again, there's a lot of different scenarios that we could see, but for now, I want you to exercise caution this weekend and just be, cautiously optimistic, but realistic in the fact that we're way too high, way too quick, and what goes up must come down, okay? Again, Bitcoin could go up. That's all well and good if it does. Just be prepared, and I hope that you are careful. So that's pretty much all I have here for you today. I hope this was beneficial. We'll take another look at it tomorrow again, of course, consistently reanalyzing Bitcoin because I know it's a big deal right now. But yeah, let's celebrate the small stuff. Yes, we're up over 40,000. That's an excellent milestone. I think that's going to help us overall shift the momentum from bearish to bullish. But we're still a little premature at this point to go all in and to expect amazing things from Bitcoin at this moment. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm saying there. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you're not currently a community member, consider subscribing. CryptoCache.tech. We'll look forward to getting to know you better. Have a good one. Thanks for your time.